Hey, thanks for joining me this morning. This week we're looking at what Jesus was teaching us that we need to reflect in our conversation with our Father when we pray. And this morning we're looking at the phrase, "And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one." And today I want to remind you that Jesus teaches us to ask our Father for protection. That's part of what this is about. You know, most of us learned the Lord's Prayer, "Deliver us from evil." The New International Version translates that, "Deliver us from the evil one." The New Living Translation says, "Rescue us from the evil one." And the original Greek language could be translated any of those ways. One of Jesus' followers, Peter, who was pretty aware of this, tells us why. In 1 Peter, at the end of the New Testament, chapter 5, he says, "Stay alert. Watch out for your great enemy, the devil. He prowls around like a roaring lion, looking for someone to devour. Stand firm against him and be strong in your faith. Remember that your family of believers all over the world," and by the way, I would add throughout time, "is going through the same kind of suffering that you are." That word devour that Peter uses means to swallow whole. It's the same idea used of the fish that swallowed Jonah. And the metaphor for us today is great, because a prowling lion attacks suddenly and viciously, and often when its unsuspecting victim is engaged in just routine activities. I have a friend who works at the Columbus Zoo. I called and I asked about lions. In the course of our short conversation, I found out some interesting things. She said that the animals at the zoo are no longer frightened when the lions roar. I figured it was because they weren't in the lion's cage. But she said that even though they do live in separate cages, they should still be afraid, but they've gotten used to the noise. Our enemy, the devil, is prowling around like a roaring lion, and I'm wondering if we're alert. Or have we gotten used to the noise? I mean, what are you listening to? What are you reading? What are you watching? What games are you playing? What or who are the greatest influences in your life? Listen, it's not just you. Jesus prayed, "Deliver us from the evil one." I think he said that because Satan could be lulling you to feel perfectly safe, even though you're moving dangerously close to the edge, and you may not be going alone. Jesus prayed, "Deliver us from the evil one." Peter says in verse 9, "Resist him, standing firm in the faith." That means that no matter what happens, you hold on to Jesus. When the lion roars, you stand your ground with Jesus, because greater is he who is in you than he who is in the world. Satan will try to use people and events in your life to destroy you, and will try to use you in theirs. And that's scary. Sometimes we don't even know we're being used by him. The lion roars when you and your spouse get into a fight. The lion is prowling when you want to have a child, and you can't. And that's not fair. When a friend that you love and trust, when they hurt you, sometimes intentionally, sometimes unintentionally. Listen, do you honestly not think the lion is roaring right now in our country, right now, to divide us? You've had things happen this week, maybe even this morning, and the lion is looking for someone to devour. And so our prayer must be, and we must be willing to follow when we pray, guide us, protect us. So if you haven't already, maybe you can spot a potential ambush on your calendar already. Take a look at it right now and ask God for protection.